before you face off with an opponent, give a little salute. What that does is say, I'm ready, first of all. Don't give that salute till you are ready and you're focused on what's going on here. Secondly, it's a little sign of respect that we're both on the same page. We're going to be doing the same thing here. And sort of a chivalric tie-in with all that stuff. Every sort of culture does it. As I say, we don't have a specific 8-point salute or whatever. The salute is individual to you, just so you give one instance here. The SEGNO is kind of a tactical guide, but there's a lot of things in this sort of graphic presentation of Fiore's fighting arts. His tactics are in here. The posta, the positions are actually encoded in here. The angle of the strikes and blows are encoded in here. If you look at it from the top, the footwork is in here. Everything is in here. And the more you look at this over the course of years, it's like an onion. You see more in it. It's an amazingly dense presentation of the fighting principles. And I'll just read off the basic translation. This is from the Saint George. The master with these swords signifies the 7 colpi of the sword. Colpi, by the way, is strike or blow. It is not cut. There's no draw. There's nothing like that in medieval swordsmanship. And the 4 animals signify the 4 virtues. These are prudentia, celeritas, audacia, and fortitudo. And he who wishes to do well in the art of each virtue must he have part. That really means you have to have a balance of these different fighting qualities. At the base, you have the elephant. Fiore says about the elephant I am, and the castle does not tip. As you can see, it would be unhappy for the fellows in the top if you did tip, not move. Now that has practical applications in terms of fight, because if you lean forward, your head becomes closer to your opponent. If you lean back, you can't come forward into the fight quickly. So you want to stand basically keeping your upper body straight. We'll go into the stance more detail in a minute. The elephant usually has a little base here. It is the base. This is, coincidentally, the first module in our study is named after the elephant because we're building the foundation here. Next, celeritas. I am the tiger, so quick to run and turn that the arrow from the sky shall not pass it. The tiger has snatched the arrow out of the air. This is that immediacy in a fight, that reaching out and just taking it away. You can think of it as initiative if you like, but it's also speed. Having trained enough that you can just do these actions without having to think, oh, I need to throw us some honey now. You can just do it. And some people have very quick reactions. Other people have to drill to get those reactions. It's part of the individual thing. Nothing wrong with leading either way. On the other side, audacia. None possesses a more daring heart than me, the lion, as I always seek the fight. This one's often misunderstood. It doesn't mean just rushing into the fight, because Fiore is all about keeping the fight safe. So he wants you to strike only when you can't be struck in your turn. It is a failure if you double kill, because that doesn't do you any good at all. So as a matter of tradition in the Schola, we do not refight double kills. Double kill, you're both out, just the way it is, because I don't want to encourage, well, we can just do it again. Well, ultimately, that's fine if I'm fighting with this aluminum one, or the wooden one. It isn't so good with this. So when you're training, think of your opponent really has one of these. And everything you gear towards, you're not going to take a gambling shot that might work 80% of the time, or 75%. It isn't going to happen, because that 15% is too much if you throw more than one blow. So you want to be safe in what you do. What this means, what audacia means, is you go in when it's time. Now, we've broken our levels out into the elephant class is the basic class. The tiger set is for all the long play stuff, so everything that happens at distance. The lion is the close play, the gioco stretto, as he calls it, as opposed to the gioco largo, the long play over here. So the gioco stretto play is when you close up and wrestle, grab the sword, do all kinds of other cool stuff inside. And that's really fun, but before we do that, we usually do a short wrestling module and a short dagger module first. So the progression ends up being work on the basics, do the long play, get all that integrated so you can fight at distance and do fine within principles. Then go back, do a unarmored wrestling and dagger module, then pick up the close play with the sword. By that point, you've pretty well got the core of his stuff integrated and you're ready to play. And these do correspond to our levels in the school. Above all is prudentia. Better than me, the lynx, one does not see. And I position myself always by order and measure. Now you can see, of course, the lion's got a heart, he's got a tower, arrow. What's this little thing?
Divider.
That's right. In medieval symbology, a divider is really a token of measure, distance, judgment, all kinds of things. That's what this is. Not only is it physical measure of distance and timing and such, but also the overall judgment. So in a very real sense, this is on top for a reason, much like in much of the art. It governs the other three. There are moments, for example, if you do any given play, you can execute that same play as we found from a very elephant-based position. It'd be right here. Play works one way if you do it that way. If, on the other hand, you do it this way, it may have a very different result. I may go boldly in as I'm doing it, as I wouldn't otherwise. This way I may just take it and work it solely on timing, and this way I may stand back and kind of lean into it. Depends on what you're doing. A fight is really all four of those. On another front, people tend to fight more strongly from one of these four positions. And it's interesting because if I have somebody that likes to fight with the lion, actually using the tiger against them is pretty darn effective. Because when they want to rush in, if I keep my distance, that tires them as they come in. It opens up lines as they come in. Similarly, if someone just plays with the elephant, if I pick and choose very intelligently outside, it's hard for them just to maintain that. So you can use all of these against each other. Usually we found that the strongest going directly opposite, but these of course will work too. Another way, Paul MacDonald in Scotland has said, well look, you get air, earth, fire, and water, and you can fight from those kind of positions. That works too. He has a bunch of other arcane sort of assignments that I won't go into, but that one's kind of interesting to throw out there. So you get the creatures, and those are his basic fighting qualities. Acceleration, that initiative and speed are pretty much your cutting areas. At Fendante, for example, the overhand strike is anything between these two, basically. And so it isn't that it's just this angle, and you always strike that way, although for the sake of class, we do it that way mostly. But it's anywhere in here. Now, in later Italian fencing, starting with Morozzo, you see that these are actually called squalembrato. And he adds a straight down called a fendante. In the medieval arts, though, that's not an issue. So don't worry about it. I also don't use the Filippo Vadi terminology, which is completely different. Go across here, any sideways strike, side to side, is a mezzani, so middle strike. You don't use those very often. Typically, that's all fendantes. Upward strikes coming from below are sottanis. And you'll find that they're paired off with their fendante. And you see how smoothly that works together when you get to throwing strikes. Lastly, you have the punta, or the thrust here. And Fiore thrusts anywhere from the belly up to the chin, sometimes in the face, but anything that goes up here can glance off and leave. So you kind of want to stick under here if you can. So this is the punta. The other thing you get from this is if you look at this from the top down, it's kind of your footwork too. You're often stepping off the line instead of moving directly towards your opponent. And you do that because if you change the line, you'll try to step across their cross, as we say, which I'll explain in just a minute, and get yourself a positional advantage. In all the fighting, you're trying to get an advantage of distance, time, place, or initiative. And by stepping this way, you usually get that. When I say do a step and do that, usually default to going one of these rather than just stepping directly forward. So if you work in little steps, make it while offside, just a little bit to one side or the other. You'll go forward and back naturally enough. You don't need to practice those. But getting it intuitive to move off the line a little bit is very, very difficult. Now, for those of you that have done nothing at all, that'll probably be easier than for those of you who have actually been doing some other art for a long time, where you do go in and out, because your tendency, if you've been practicing something, is to just maintain this line. Either in fencing or most other martial arts, there's a very small component of that. Usually it's directly up from there. Okay, you see also that these posta are on here, and these correspond with the various fighting positions, thus giving you a little shorthand for where the posta are. Conveniently, it also shows what you're going to throw from there. Dente de cinghiale, you're going to throw a sottani or a punta. So you get to see right off the bat what you throw from there. Longa, if you had it, you throw a thrust to the side. We'll go through all of these in detail, but I'll say for much of the class, worry about your elephant, keep that elephant upright. This is the one we're emphasizing today, so worry about that one first and foremost. Okay, any observations or questions about the segno? Segno means sign, and it's just his encapsulation. So you'll see this a lot, and when we print it on the back of our t-shirts, it's a good memory cue. All right.